All right, John McClain, Houston Chronicle, joins us on SicEm365 Radio. All right, John, it's pretty cool. We're seeing Dak Prescott, Joe Burrow, guys coming back from injuries. OTAs are popping up around the NFL. Is it life is normal, back to business?
You talking about in the NFL? It
Yeah.
depends on what team you're with in Green Bay.
Oh,
It's nothing but normal because of the Aaron Rodgers controversy in Houston. Nothing it's all abnormal because of the Deshaun Watson controversy. So some teams that don't have controversy and do have stability, it's normal. Atlanta, you got the Julio Jones controversy, but there are a lot of teams that can breathe easily because they don't have problems and they can focus on football.
I saw today that Deshaun Watson's not going to get deposed in the case while they're going to start in September. How much is the fact that the case is going to drag on through the entire season before he even gets to say his piece in it going to affect how the NFL approaches him?
Well, first of all, the NFL doesn't care about that. NFL doesn't have to have. Look at Ezekiel Elliott. No charges were filed, and he still got suspended 6 games. So they have their investigative arm at the NFL. They are loaded with investigators. Some of the 22 plaintiffs that have filed sexual assault and misconduct charges against Deshaun Watson are talking to the NFL investigators. There's 1 or 2 cases that they haven't brought charges yet, but they're investigating. So Goodell can wait 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, or he could do it in start a training camp or regular season. This is not the only thing they got going on. And as I point out to people, Antonio Brown investigation was launched in 2019. He was already suspended for half a season. And even though he reached a settlement with his accuser a couple of months ago, the NFL is still investigating. Meanwhile, he's won a Super Bowl ring, and he also has just re-signed with Tampa Bay. But at some point, they could take him off the field. And remember, there's never been a case like this with 22 individual lawsuits, and there's serious charges by the accusers. And so Goodell can do anything he wants. What would be best for Watson is right before the season, have him put on the commissioner's exempt list. Only Goodell can make that decision, not the Texans, not Watson. And if he is on the exempt list while the investigation is ongoing, then he gets paid his $10.5 million base salary. If he doesn't show up for the mini camp next month, it'll cost him $93,000 in fines, and for every day he's out of training camp, it'll be $50,000. And about $10.5 million base is a lot of money, but he's paying one of the most expensive lawyers in the country, Rusty Hardin, and no telling what he's having to pay Rusty Hardin, and that bill just keeps going up. And so if he showed up and reported, they couldn't put him on any list, did not report, things like that. They could suspend him. Any team can suspend a player with cause, but they don't do it. They usually leave it up to the league so they're not portrayed as bad guys. So we've known he's not showing up in the off season. The key now, does he need money bad enough to show up to starting camp? Hoping it'll force a trade, and or hoping it'll get Goodell to take him out of the spotlight and put him on that exempt list where he could stay all season, 5 games, 6 games. It's all at the commissioner's discretion.
What do you think of the Julio Jones Falcons situation? I mean, he clearly wants out. It's kind of been known for a while, but then that just, more fuel was added to the fire yesterday with the Shannon Sharpe appearance. John, how do you see this going for Julio Jones eventually?
That appearance on Shannon Sharpe is one of the biggest fakes I've ever seen. Like, he called him up and he answered and gave him a scoop. Of course, they planned that, but they've been trying to trade him since before the draft. The only way I see the Falcons getting a second-round pick would be maybe from a team that has multiple 2s next year, or say they have multiple 1s, and they think they're a wide receiver away from either making the playoffs or making a Super Bowl. And right now, when you got a guy his age with his kind of contract coming off an injury-plagued season, I wouldn't give a 2. I'd try to get him to take a 4 that could become a 3 or a 2, depending on how many games he played or how well the team did. I just think it's hard to get a 2 unless the team has multiple picks next year, and a bunch of them do.
John, the Astros and Dodgers, I think, start a series. I think it's in Houston, is it not? And what's that like? Those two have got a little bit of friction between the two of them.
Well, first of all, I'm so down on the Astros after the way they stunk it up in Arlington with the most pathetic performance I've ever seen. Come off of winning the series at Oakland and just stink it up to the high heavens against a team that had been no-hit twice, worst hitting team in baseball. So all my friends are fired up about the Dodgers being here. I went to lunch with one today, and I said, I won't pay any attention to it. I said, just like when they got swept here by the Tigers, I paid no attention for a week because right now I'm down on them big time after that horrendous effort that they put out at Globe Life Field. But, yeah, a lot of people are fired up. A friend at the game said there's a lot of Dodger fans lining up outside Minute Maid Park. And this is the first time the Dodgers have been here. Astros played out there last year, no fans. Of course, they had controversy. They had bench clearing balls. Joe Kelly almost beamed Alex Bregman. It was ugly, ugly, ugly. And what I'd like to ask the Dodgers, okay, they weren't banging on trash cans in L.A. when they kicked your butt to win the World Series, were they?
Tell us how you really feel about the Astros in Arlington, John. I didn't think you got enough emotion. John McClain, Houston Chronicle, with us on SicEm365 Radio. Dave Aranda was in Houston at that touchdown club last week. Your thoughts? Were you able to make that one, John?
No, I was not. I had a speaking engagement that I had committed to before that, but we ran a story in the Chronicle and had a photographer there, and everybody was excited. In fact, I just got back the two Baylor fans who were there to email me to ask me what I thought about the football team, and I said this. I said, usually a head coach, and I've been seeing them now for almost 50 years, their first staff is their worst because they feel obligated to hire some of their friends or other friends are recommending people, and the quicker they get those mistakes rectified, the better chance they have of having a better staff and being a good team. So all the fans want to see the kind of improvement Matt Rule made in his second season. And I'd feel a lot better if I knew who the starting quarterback was going to be, because I think getting Grimes was a good move. Do you guys know who the starting quarterback is going to be?
No.
No, we really don't.
See, that's not good when you don't know who your starter is going to be. Like when Charlie Brewer was here, it's like the last 8 years they knew he was going to be the starting quarterback. So hopefully they'll get it worked out by the time the season starts.
Oh yeah, it's a fresh thing because we have some new young, very talented young men. But the question of who would be the start, I mean, some would think it's Zeno, some would think it's Bohannon. I don't think anyone knows. I don't know if Grimes knows.
I don't know if Bohannon is the quarterback of the way he throws the football. You know, I'd be shocked because he's always been a runner first, and you guys know it. We've watched him, and I don't remember other than Zeno, other than that time at the end of his freshman year. I can't remember what game it was. I was like, wow, this kid could be good. And then, did you redshirt last year or just not play or what?
He played at the end, the very end.
Yeah. They just.
So I don't feel real good about it. But if Grimes, you know, going into last season, Zach Wilson had to earn a starting job at BYU, and he did, and that worked out all right. So I'm not saying any of them will be Zach Wilson, but hopefully Grimes can work some magic like he did with Zach Wilson.
John, I know I want to go back to the Astros real quick. Just a quick question. I know he's been playing there against them for the Angels for a while, but Astros fans hated him with the Cardinals. Will Albert Pujols get loudly booed tonight now that he's a Dodger and like the circle of hatred for Astros fans can be complete?
He got booed when he was in St. Louis, and he got booed when he was with the Angels, and he's going to get booed when he plays for the Dodgers. He has abused them this year, as he always does. Hell, they should have signed him just so they don't have to play against him. But they've got a DH and they've got a first baseman, two of their best players. I still don't know why he went to the National League when he's a DH. But those boos are a sign of respect because he has kicked their butt for over 15 years, and he might do it again tonight. I'm just glad they're not playing the Rangers.
Yeah, you're right, because they'd start a sweep of them right now. John,
they would. I Okay, guys. Thank you. And SicEm.
That's John McClain, Houston Chronicle, very frustrated with the Astros. One quick note, then Paul's